Here is my Gibson Les Paul Classic 2005 in Honeyburst that's been stored for 10 years and in due of a major service. I've got some basic tools, some 0000 wire wool, some lighter fluid, microfiber cloth, masking tape or painter's tape, a scraper, and a few other little bits. You can see a sock there. And yeah, let's get into it. Ooh. Okay, first things first, let's get those strings off. They'd been sat on there for 10 years. When it was in storage, I loosened them right off. And it was subject to moisture when it was stored, which is what it is now. You can see that the lacquer is starting to pull up around the Gibson logo. There's some rust on the screws. Now the frets themselves are very corroded, as you'll focus in now. Here we go. They're very corroded, but nothing that a bit of extremely fine wire wool can't polish up. If you're ever doing this, make sure you use 0000 wire wool. You do not want to scratch them. The bridge and the saddle are in bad shape. Well, they're very dirty, thankfully. I'm a bit concerned about moisture, but that will come towards the end of the video. Let's get some parts off and get them cleaned up. You can see surface corrosion. Now these aren't going to buff out to brand new. I just want to get all the dirt off them, especially in here. As you can see, there is a lot of grime that, interestingly enough, wasn't there when I put it in the case 10 years ago. It was all clean, so that's happened over 10 years. I'm not going to be spraying these down with anything, by the way. I'm simply going to, hello everyone, you can see me waving there. I'm simply going to brush off the dirt and see how much there is. Here we go. I just use paper to clean. Looking better already. Let's give this a nice wipe down. There we go. A bit of shine back in there, the dirt removed. Still fits with the aged look that this guitar is going to have now, being 20 years old. And there is significant lacquer checking around the body of the guitar that we'll see soon. There was some grime on the bridge pickup, so I just wanted to get that off. I used a little bit of lighter fluid, which is naptha, and that just kind of lifts some grime. But be careful with this, don't use too much. And don't use it on the body of the guitar, as you'll see later in this video. Or just be careful with it. Some washing machine tunes in the background. Anyway, by the way, I do go back to this after the video just to remove the final bits. Now let's do something that's never been done on this guitar, which is remove the pickguard. Never been done. Huh. Always have somewhere to store your parts, but that looks good. I like it. Now let's tape these pickups up. Alright. Uh-oh. Ready for a fret condition. These frets are not in a good shape. It's just surface corrosion. I have not done a fret dress. These are not getting filed down. I'm just leaving it as it is and going to be playing this for months until I decide whether or not it needs a proper fret dress. Pickups must be taped up and covered. You do not want to get these metal filings anywhere near your pickups. There's magnets in your pickups, they'll stick there, and it's just, you don't want that. Let's just have a look at how this turns out. A real light rub, and they are looking brand new. Well, not brand new, but they are lifting. All of that corrosion is lifted just with a few passes of this ultra fine steel wool. And there we go. Look at that difference. It's night and day. Looks way better. It was simply surface dirt. Now, by the way, this was just a quick pass. I haven't spent extensive amount of time cleaning this. I really just gave each fret a quick wipe down with the steel wool, and that's it. I'm not going to go buff it, but I didn't like the rust on these screws, especially that bottom screw. So let's see how they look once I take them off and give them a bit of a wipe down with the steel wool. There we go. Much better. Still aged, still looking nice and 20 years old. I did drag some paper through the nut as well, just to get rid of the graphite in there. I used to use a graphite pencil in my nut, as odd as that sounds. Also, when I lift off the tape, and this is ultra low tack, by the way, I may have mentioned that earlier. This is painter's tape, ultra low tack, but it's actually pulling off, as you can see, a lot of surface grime on the fretboard, which was actually, to my surprise, I didn't think it was going to be lifting that much grime off the fretboard. Maybe it was where it has been sat for a while, because yeah, this is incredibly low tack. It's not leaving any residue on the guitar or the fretboard, which is exactly what you want. So yeah, low tack painter's tape for a fretboard, and you definitely want to do that if you're giving your frets any service. Yeah, it was surprising, and it made the next step a little easier. The frets were nice and clean. Now again, this guitar was played a lot. I always look after my guitars and clean them, but here is the next step that I think has the biggest before and after difference. Fretboard looking a little bit dry. Let's get that lemon oil on there. Controversial as it may be to some, I use it for my rosewood fretboards or for my dark ebony fretboards. Now, there we go. Lemon oil on, and that absorbed the moisture like crazy. I do give it a buff down in a bit, but it is looking nice and dark and lovely. I just hope the neck's okay, but the setup will be coming later. There we go. I've wiped down the headstock. I haven't polished this extensively. I've just really given it a wipe down. Now that fretboard and fret condition are looking way better. A lot darker in the wood, a lot cleaner in the actual frets. It's looking lovely, and we are almost there. I also cleaned up just with a toothbrush around this switch. It had a lot of this white kind of chalk, whatever it was. Oh yeah, the machine heads turned out incredible. I couldn't believe the dirt around the machine heads, and it was almost as if there was oil kind of leaking out. Maybe the internals are oiled up. I should know that, but either way, wiping them down, the amount of dirt that came off, and they look incredible now whilst I focus in, just looking brand new. Absolutely looking, and I love these machine heads on the Gibsons, by the way. They're not the Grove ones, they're the Gibson Deluxe, and they look amazing. So I tried to get rid of this rubber mark, or this kind of glue mark on the back from sitting against the guitar stand. I couldn't get rid of it. Interestingly, I tested the naptha there and it was fine. Oh, some lacquer check. You can kind of see all those cracks in the lacquer, but there's this pink mark on the body that is almost like some nail varnish or something. I have no idea how it got there, but unfortunately I used the naptha. It did get rid of the red mark, but now I'm upset because it's left a smear. But I guess it just adds to the age and the character of the guitar, or so I will be telling myself. one more wipe down with some steel wool, because that is ultra fine steel wool. I don't want this brand new, but let's just have a look. It's going to give it a bit more of a shine, and we'll see, looking before and after, looking much better, I would say. Especially on that bridge, on that tailpiece, and here we go. That's looking a bit nicer, still kind of grimy, but the big thing for me is the dirt is off. Time for a quick polish, and a before and after looking virtually no different whatsoever. But yes, it did happen. The finish is very hazy now, and I have polished that, but there's only one more thing to do. Put some strings on and look at the after. Let it marvel in its glory. Enjoy.